So it's been a few months now, the hype has well and truly died down, and now I figured it was my time to make a YouTube video. You know, around here we don't do things on time, we don't do things topically. You know, when there's a big hype, no, that's not when we do a YouTube video. We make a video when nobody's fucking talking about it anymore. Dust in the air. It's fucking dusty around here. Alright, what am I talking about? Of course you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fucking Lizard Queen, right? Now, in case... Ooh, I wonder if it's catching the light there. You can see how dusty it is. See all the fingerprints on it. So, unless you've been living under a rock, this is a pedal that was has come out... What am I talking about? What am I fucking doing? Let's try this again. So, in case you've been living under a rock, this is the JHS Electro Harmonics Lizard Queen. And there's a bit of an interesting story behind this. I'll quickly run over it. I'm sure most of you know, but basically... around a year ago, Josh Scott from JHS Pedals and this bloke called Daniel Danger, who's like an artist screen printer type thing, I believe, made a YouTube video where they kind of made an electro harmonics pedal from the 70s that didn't exist, but they made it as if it did exist. And this was like, Josh came up with a circuit and Daniel like designed all the aesthetics and stuff, and they did this whole video kind of just like as a fun thing, I guess. And then we're like, all right, you know, if there's some interest, maybe we'll make some. Obviously there was some interest. Year went by, kind of nothing really came of it. I took about 6 months. I didn't see the video until like 6 months ago, the original Lizard Queen one. But yeah, kind of a year or so went by, and then they were all like, oh, you know, Tuesday, we're going to be doing a live stream, you're going to want to be there. And it was all secret, hush hush, and they started posting like some hints, and I was kind of a bit like, what's this going to be, what's it going to be about? And then some people in the comments were like, hey, could be a Lizard Queen. I was like, of course, it's a Lizard Queen. So I did what any normal, rational person would do, being in Australia. I got up at 3 a.m. on a fucking Tuesday night, or I guess early Wednesday morning, I can't quite remember, and tuned into the live stream, and of course, I bought one. Obviously, so the original one that Josh and Daniel made was like this. It was in like the big box, like classic, 70s electro harmonics. It doesn't have an LED. It's got the weird on-off switch, which is stupid. Battery only, like ram's head knobs, which I love. And yeah, but then they made 1,000 of these ones, and then they also are doing like a nano version with electro harmonics, and basically they got electro harmonics on board to collaborate with them on this one, so it wasn't just, because the original was just them making a pedal for fun and pretending it was electro harmonics. Now they actually got them on board, and they make the nano version. I don't have the nano version because of course I got the big one. But I can only assume it sounds exactly the same. Don't think this big version sounds any better or any different, really. I mean, maybe slightly different, but I mean, with these fuzz pedals, every unit could sound slightly different. Normally, I'm not like super big on the whole like collector hype thing. Like, I get around it and, I'll pay attention, but I won't always buy in. But I wanted to buy in on this one because, and you'll have to give me a second because I didn't get it out beforehand. Alright, similar professionalism here. Should have gotten this out before. I got the big box version because this was my very first standalone pedal. This is the Electro Harmonix Big Muff. It's just the standard New York version, whatever, like the current big box version that they make. I think they call it the NY Big Muff. But yeah, this was my first standalone pedal. I had a Multifex before. This doesn't really count. Something's loose in there. But yeah, my dad had offered to buy me a guitar pedal because I was kind of starting to get interested. Didn't really know what I wanted. Went into the store and I was like, oh, a fuzz pedal would be cool. At the time I was listening to a lot of White Stripes, a lot of the Black Keys. So yeah, I tried a bunch and the Big Muff appealed to me. I didn't know anything about the circuit, the history. I didn't even know that like Dan Auerbach and Jack White used a Big Muff. Maybe I just heard it. I don't know. I didn't actually know that, genuinely. But I think the name, the fact that it's like big and kind of vintagey really appealed to me. Like the name is like funny. And I bought it. I didn't understand anything about it being scooped or its lineage, but all these years I've hung on to it and all these years I've loved Big Muffs, obviously, but also these kind of old 70s big box, over the top, like any old pedals that are like really big and unnecessarily big and like old. Like I'd love to get like an original Memory Man, as impractical as they are. But anyway, so because of this, I thought it'd be cool to get this. Look at that, basically the same. How good is that? Yeah, so I thought it would be fun to get a Lizard Queen. Now, that's enough about kind of my story. I guess now we need to talk about the hype. And, there was questions and concerns and comments around the price and, kind of comments and concerns and queries around JHS as a company and what, Josh Scott and the team over there are doing with their YouTube channel and how they're kind of hyping stuff up. And I guess the question, the extremely clickbaity title of this video would allude to the question, is this ultimately worth it? Was it worth it? Now, of course, I like to get in on the game. I'm on the hustle just like any other YouTuber, but worth it is an entirely personal thing. Is it worth it to you? It was a decent amount of money, especially with shipping and the currency conversion. This was an expensive pedal. I guess more I'm here to answer, was it worth it for me to get it? I think it's a cool pedal. It's a cool looking pedal. I love EHX and the whole aesthetic of the pedal, but the sound isn't necessarily what I'm chasing at the moment. And I'm saying it that way because I'm not saying that this is a bad sounding pedal. Quite the contrary. I think it sounds great for what it does, but this isn't the kind of thing I'm chasing at the moment, and it does some of the things that I dislike fuzz pedals doing. I like big muffs because they're aggressive. There's that big mid scoop there, but if you pair it with the right amp, the right other pedals, you can get this really thick, chewy guitar sound, but it's got the really big highs and the big lows, and there's plenty of attack. Pair it with a tube screamer, you get that pick attack back, and it's not like a fuzz face. It's the complete opposite to a fuzz face from what I hear. And that's what I've loved about these pedals. They're big, they're huge, Sometimes you get lost in the mix if you're not careful, but, I figured out ways to make it work. This is more like a fuzz face octave thing. I've discovered over time that fuzz faces and some octave fuzzes are not really my thing. The real vintagey style, like Octavix fuzz face, it's just, to me, it's really muddy and not in a good way. Kind of just muddy, there's no pick attack, everything sounds really woolly is usually the sound. And this pedal does that kind of thing that I don't like necessarily. But I found if you just fucking turn everything on 10 and kind of have the octave up pretty high, it gets in that crazy cool kind of octave territory. And having the octave in there kind of adds some cut through back to the sound. Without the octave, it's really kind of, it's like kind of like fuzz-facey, fuzzy, distortion-y type thing, but it's not necessarily something that I'm after. I like lots of pick attack, lots of clarity, just in my general guitar tone, and this fuzz doesn't do it. Also, I don't know if it's just my unit, but this balance control doesn't seem to fucking do anything. There's like a tiny difference, but I think sun is the brighter setting, so I just kind of run it that way, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't do anything. Maybe there's something wrong with mine. I don't know. I don't think so. Sounds kind of like all the YouTube videos I've heard. But yeah, this was a hyped pedal. There was some hype around it. It was short and it was fleeting, and then lots of people, it was kind of like, instead of there being lots of build up to it, it was lots of like post, and, scalpers are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to try and sell them. But the idea of having the nano version, I think, is really cool because it doesn't necessarily stop scalpers from trying to sell them, but it stops people from feeling inclined to buy it in order to get the sound. People want the Lizard Queen sound, there's the nano version. This is more for the nerdy collectors like myself. I'm not really a collector, but I have a soft spot for these pedals. There's people who have a soft spot for these kind of big EHX style pedals. And, you get the whole big box with the old school manual and everything, you can go see on the JHS live stream, they went through it. Everything, it's the whole kind of experience, I guess. And this isn't normally something I buy into, but like I said, I have a soft spot for these sorts of pedals. So, was it worth it? Ultimately, that's up to you. Clickbait title, be damned. For me, I think it was a fun purchase, and it's probably something I'll hold on to. I don't really want to... And if I were to sell it, I'd probably just sell it for what I paid for it. I'm not in the interest of making money that way, even though, it could help, but I'm not in the interest of ripping people off. But I think it's a cool pedal. I'll keep it out and play around with it, and when I'm kind of sick of it, I'll put it back in its box, or maybe put it on the... I don't think you can see it, but I have a little shelf where I keep some pedals. Maybe I'll put it up there and leave it on display. And if a rainy day ever comes where I need a cool weird kind of octave fuzzy thing, and I want to use this bad boy, I've fucking got it to use it, you know. They were made to be used, so I would like to use it in some kind of capacity and not have it just sit on my shelf for forever. Anyway, this was less of a concise demo. Obviously, you'll have seen some playing clips, and there was a song at the beginning. This is less of a demo. If you want an actual demo, there's other videos. I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about the pedal and the hype around it, you know. To some people, this isn't going to be worth it. To some people, it's going to be stupid and ridiculous, but I think of all the things in the world to be angry at, being angry at a cool kind of pedal is a silly thing to be angry at. If you're upset about not being able to get one because of the limited run and the fact that it was on this, they all sold out during the live stream, you know, that I can understand a bit more, but it's a pedal. It's a fun octave fuzz pedal, you know, nothing wrong with that. If you really want it, there's the nano version. But yeah, it's something that's probably worth it to the people who bought it and the people who are enjoying it. But anyway, that has been it for today. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I touched on all my talking points. I was just kind of going off the dome a little bit there. Sometimes I am known to ramble a little bit. Hopefully that didn't happen too much today. If you got one of these, either the big one or the nano one, let me know in the comments. How are you using it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Turning into Anthony Fantano, what would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. Yeah, and what do you think about this kind of limited run pedal thing that lots of people are doing? I know there has been a lot of controversy and upset around brands doing limited runs of things and them selling out and getting sold on the second-hand market for stupid amounts of money, but I think JHS have done everything they could in this situation to give the people something cool, and there was plenty of them as well, as long as you were there on the live stream. That's the only issue, but still giving people access to the circuit and the sound in a much more affordable and easy to use way. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, tell me I suck, tell me I'm shit. Say hello to your mother for me. Please subscribe. You're the best. You're the best. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I don't have a sign-off thing figured out. Fuck off.